When you think of mission trips, Japan is probably not the first country that comes to mind. But did you know only 1% of the population professes any Christianity at all? Among those few Christians, roughly 1% are on the books as members of the Seventh-Day Adventist Church. These faithful few are dwindling as the fast-paced secular environment draws the majority of the youth away from the church. This past summer, students and staff from the Weimar University Orchestra had the privilege to go and encourage our fellow brothers and sisters across the ocean. We visited 2 universities, 2 high schools, 3 junior academies, 2 elementary schools, put on a health expo, and performed 11 concerts in various venues throughout Japan and Korea. Through countless miracles and providential leading, God provided amazing ways for our small orchestra to connect with and encourage the people in Japan and Korea. Thank you for your prayers, support, and generosity in helping make this music mission trip a reality.
All right, so as we started thinking about, as we're working with the orchestra, we thought it would be great if we can do an overseas mission trip. We're from Japan originally, as you can tell, so we were thinking about Japan. But then what happened, this is 2019 when we started thinking about this.
And I started planning and talked to the youth pastor in Japan and midnight, and we make all the plans, but we don't have any funds. But by faith, we bought the ticket. But when I bought the ticket, I felt really weird feeling.
There was I think we had about $2,000 of donations that had come in to begin planning for this trip.
But I need to pay $30,000 for the airplane ticket.
Just for the airline tickets to Japan was going to cost us $30,000.
And I don't have, any funds, so we scrape all the money from my bank and try to buy it.
We had sold some property in Washington and we had a little bit of money in the bank, and so she used her personal funds to go ahead and buy the tickets.
But
this is 2019.
Yes, 2019.
What happened in 2019, 2020? COVID just shut everything down. Our whole school came in lockdown, right? No more traveling anywhere. And so we had canceled all of our airline tickets, but we were able to give this, it's beyond our control. Our school is locked down now. Can you refund the money that we paid for these tickets? And because of that, because of the COO rapidly made that decision to lock everybody down, the airlines accepted that, and every penny that we had put in for that airline tickets came back. We didn't lose anything there.
And I decided to not go anywhere. I don't want to experience this scary $30,000 to pay myself. That kind of the feeling is I don't want to touch this mission trip anymore. And I'm so thankful that COVID 2 years, I was so happy. I have no guilty. The second coming will soon, so I don't need to go anywhere.
All right, so that was how we got started with this whole thing. And so everything was shut down. All of our plans for going on a mission trip with the orchestra was completely shut down. And like my wife said, we don't want to do anything like that anymore, ever. But then now, go forward a few years, we have a new VPAA. Dr. Martin came on board, and Dr. Martin encouraged us. We said, well, yeah, COVID is winding down, maybe we can do it. And so we started making plans for that. As we looked at the finances again, we had that about a little over $2,000 initial funding. As I calculated how much money we're going to need, eventually estimated cost was somewhere around close to $100,000, $98,000 was what we're going to need. 24 people going to travel for 24 days to Korea and Japan. As we were thinking about this, some people in New Start said, you need to go to Korea. If you're going to go to Japan, it's right there. So you need to go to Korea too. And we had some contact with the university there, the Adventist University, and said, yeah, maybe we should go to Korea too. So now 24 people traveling for 24 days in 2 countries, in 5 cities, 12 concerts altogether, and the projected budget was just about $100,000. Where were we going to come up with $100,000? So we started praying, we started planning, and one of the big encouragement was Weimar Church put in $30,000, and that was our first inkling that, yeah, maybe this is possible. At first it looked just, there's no way we can do this. But so we started fundraising, doing different things. To make a long story short, we had a lot of donors come in. We did concerts. So another project that we were working on was to raise some funds. Inari Sushi is a special Japanese sushi that it's completely vegan and it tastes really good. And my wife, Mariko, and our middle daughter, Erica, was instrumental in getting this project going. And every Wednesday for lunch at the Weimar cafeteria, they had a little stand outside the cafeteria and they would sell these little packets of Inari Sushi. So let me call in Erica here to just tell us a little bit about that, and thank you for all the students and faculty who came and partook.
Thank you to all the faithful and enthusiastic Inari Wednesday supporters, my best friends on Cash App, you know who you are. And thank you for listening to the call of the Holy Spirit and your stomachs. We love you.
Thank you. Okay. Total funds at the end, we raised like I think it was like over $80,000 came in to support this trip. It wasn't quite what we needed, but because we were able to keep the costs down, we did pretty well.
During our time in Korea, we actually got to play for the university, and at the Seventh-Day University Church, we played for the Vespers there. The interesting though was that the vice president of the school, he came up to us and asked us, should we put more chairs on the stage for you? It seems like there's only, just a few chairs upstage. Like, do you guys need more for your whole orchestra? But actually, we told him, nope, that's it. We have just enough chairs that we need. And so he was surprised to find out that our orchestra was just 9 people at that time. More people would join us in Japan, but during our time in Korea, it was just the 9 of us. And so he was surprised, but then God blessed during that concert. And so many people came up to us after that concert and told us how much they were blessed by our music and how their thoughts were uplifted to God. So that was a good reminder that God works by many or by few. There were only a handful of us there, but God was able to work mightily just through the humble Weimar orchestra that we were. But not only did we get to play for the church, we actually got to mingle with some of the students at the university, and we got to play music for them as well. Seventh-Day University, although it is a big Adventist university, it sadly consists of mostly non-Adventist students. A majority of the students there are secular or atheist, and so just getting to play for the students in public was a blessing. And something that we realized during our time in Korea was that even though Seventh-Day University was such a big university and it was so materially wealthy, we realized that they actually needed spiritual blessings that Weimar offers. And so we were able to share the spiritual blessings that we enjoy here at Weimar with them, and they were able to provide us with some of the more physical material needs that we had, such as food and transportation and lodging and things like that. So we were so thankful for that, and as a result, we had such a wonderful time in Korea, and we were able to connect with the students as well.
After our time spent in Korea, we headed over to Japan. Specifically, across the bay from Tokyo, we stayed for about 7 days in Otaki. And there, during the meantime, we were visiting the college. And so one of the days before we did our concert at the college, we went to Mount Fuji. And I remember coming down that mountain feeling quite discouraged. And I was asking God, please help me get over this discouragement, show me and help me to get out of this. And so the next day, we had a Vespers to do and a special music at Otaki College. And so Ms. Kinja was asking us who would like to do their testimony. We needed 2 people. And I volunteered, even though I felt a bit hesitant. And during that testimony, my spiritual walk was invigorated because sharing my testimony to an area of low Christianity in Japan really influenced me to move my faith. And so what happened was that when I gave my testimony, a lot of people were moved by it. And specifically 2 people came up after me and they mentioned how greatly my testimony, either it helped their spiritual walk or they had gone through a similar experience. And so after that, it really showed me, just thinking about it, it really showed me that God really supplied my need when I asked Him. And despite whether going through instances where we needed more chairs, we needed more, we need to be more on time and stuff like that during the tour when we were filming for the music videos, I saw God working in all those things. And another instance where I saw God working was that after we spent a little time in Otaki, we went to Tokyo for a little bit, and we were supposed to do a concert for the elementary school in Tokyo. And when we were setting up for the concert, I noticed that there was too many chairs. And during that time, I told one of the people, I'm like, hey, I need to take down chairs. And they're like, okay, we'll take down chairs. So I took down chairs, and it looked like we need to take down more. So I took down more. I took about 10 chairs down. And it kind of felt a little bit intimidating because it's like we came as an orchestra, but it's more like a small chamber group. And so each time we would play, it felt like the angels were playing with us because we would have compliments of people coming up after us and saying wow, your orchestra sounds so big, but yet it's so small. So looking at all these instances, God really blessed us on the Japan and Korea mission tour because it really helped us to strengthen our faith and to strengthen the faith of our brothers in Korea and Japan.
So, we were in Osaka in the middle of Japan, and we were going to head to Okinawa, which is an island that's south of Japan. However, things didn't work out and those flights had been canceled. So, for a couple days, we were completely in limbo with nothing to do. The storm was coming through, there was a typhoon coming through Okinawa, and it left our flights canceled. We had nothing to do, and we decided, hey, let's just lay low for a little bit, and in a couple days, we'll take that flight to Okinawa. So, in the meantime, we had some fun, did some games. We went to an arcade, we played games, we did activities, and we had a general good time. And it was all nice and good, and we had fun. I connected with friends, I socialized, but at the end of the experience, I felt kind of empty inside. I felt like I wasn't accomplishing my goals. And it's because I felt like I didn't have a sense of purpose. I was lacking a sense of purpose that the trip had provided. And the people that had been supporting our mission trip, whether it be through finances or whether it be through prayer, I felt like I had let them down. And I didn't have that sense of purpose that was driving me. So in the end, I felt unfulfilled, even though I had a great time at the arcade. And by this time, we were coming back from this arcade place, and the typhoon that had been rolling through Okinawa had started coming over Osaka where we were, and we had a miserable afternoon. It was raining hard, just the most torrential rain I've ever experienced in my life. It was it was awful. I mean, you could not escape from this rain. And unfortunately, the trains that we had taken to get there had been shut down because of this pouring rain. So we were completely stranded, just 5 miles from our hotel with no way out. So we decided, well, we gotta wait. So we picked up some Ubers, some taxis. It took us a couple hours, and by the time we got back to our hotel, we were just utterly out of energy, just completely pooped. But at that time, we just gathered for a little worship before we were going to go our separate ways. But it turned out that we had found a place where we could hold a concert in the train station where we were at. And it was right next to our hotel. All the trains had been canceled at that time. So we prayed about it. And although we were dead tired, completely exhausted, we decided that we were going to go and perform a concert, and that's what we did. So we went to the train station and we performed that concert, and it was magical. It was an experience unlike anything I've ever had in all my years of playing. When we played, it seemed like the presence of the Holy Spirit was in the train station. We had this large room with a piano. It was like a concert hall in this train station, and the sound just echoed off the walls. And I was just in utter disbelief. It was like I was looking at my friends playing next to me. I was in disbelief looking at them. I was shocked, and I think we all knew that the Holy Spirit was there, that angels were playing with us in the train station. So we were able to gather a large audience. We started with just a couple spectators, and then we amassed a large group of audience members. And these were people that were just stuck in the train station, completely hopeless. They had nowhere to go. The trains were completely stopped. So we were able to pass out glow tracts and literature to these people who, well, Japan is a mostly non-Christian country. So these were people who were just off the street looking for a little bit of hope. And I think that's what we provided for them. So overall, I felt like that was my most impactful experience. It's where I felt that sense of purpose that I was lacking. Maybe going to those arcades, I didn't feel the sense of purpose that I was craving. And I was just enjoying the ride, enjoying the motions, but I wasn't really acting, I wasn't really fulfilling my purpose. So that experience brought me fulfillment, and it was definitely an experience that brought me closer to the Lord. And I just wanted to share that with you.
I was very thankful because at Okinawa, we were going to be able to do a health expo. The health expo was one of my favorite parts of the trip because at this point, we weren't just sharing music with others, we were giving them practical help. Practical help through massage, through lectures, through helping them go through each station of New Start and learn different things about how to live a healthier life. This was a really wonderful experience, and I really appreciated having a chance to talk to people about their health. I was helping at the nutrition booth, and I remember talking about oranges versus orange soda and white rice versus brown rice and how they have different effects on your health. And it was just wonderful to explain the things we've learned at Weimar to these people in Japan. We almost didn't make it to Okinawa because of that typhoon, and that also affected Dr. Miyagi. Dr. Miyagi was one of the presenters that was going to present after the Health Expo in a series of lectures that were interspersed by music by the orchestra. And all of a sudden, when the typhoon hit, we thought he wasn't going to be able to make it. But surprise, God works all things out. Because the morning of the Health Expo, he comes walking in the door and saying, "Hi everyone." And we were so surprised that he actually was able to show up. And that was some way that God provided during the trip. Also, the church members had prepared for the Health Expo before we arrived. We were initially going to help them, but then it didn't work out because we got delayed by the typhoon. But when they prepared, they thought maybe not so many people would show up because the weather wouldn't be so good or something like that. So they made only 250 lunches. Well, what happened is when everybody actually did show up, all the lunches were gone and we didn't have enough for everyone. It was wonderful to see everyone that was able to show up for the Health Expo and get practical help, and it showed how much there is a need for this medical missionary work, and in all places and in Japan and Okinawa. Another thing we did in Okinawa was filming. We filmed on the last day of our time in Okinawa. We got up at 6 o'clock in the morning and Mrs. Kinjo got everyone rushing. We need to hurry to the balcony because the clouds are going to come over. So we hurried as fast as we could, and we could see up in the sky there was this big black ominous cloud that was about to come over us while we were recording. We prayed and asked God, please help us to be able to get this done before the cloud comes. And then we started recording, and every once in a while I would kind of glance up to that cloud and imagine and wonder if it was going to come over us. But as we looked, we started noticing that there was a direct line in the clouds, and it seemed as if they would come and overcome us, but they would come and just completely disperse at a certain particular line in the clouds. And for the whole time while we were recording, they did not come over us. And we were praising the Lord for that. It was such a miracle that He allowed us to make that recording so that we could share this message of music with other people.
I was just reminded during this orchestra trip that God will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. He always makes a way for us when we choose to put Him first, and He will shine through us.
Sometimes I wake up and what I'm doing here, why I'm doing this one. I want to quit everything and I want to stop everything. But anytime I had some kind of feeling or the thoughts coming up, every time I open the Bible and Ellen White quotation, it's amazing. Every single time encourage me. And this is the quotation the most I read the most, and it really encouraging me. Walk in faith and live results with God. Pray in faith, and the mystery of His providence will bring its answer. At times it may seem that you cannot succeed, but walk and believe, putting into your efforts faith, hope, and courage. After doing what you can, wait for the Lord, declaring His faithfulness, and He will bring His word to pass. Wait, not in fretful anxiety, but in undaunted faith and unshaken trust.